Speed is a characteristic that really separates a great athlete from a good athlete. And a big part of speed that is missing from a lot of athletes' game, and they're leaving potential on the table that really impacts their performance, which we're going to get to here in a second, is the fact that they never train max speed. So a lot of times they train acceleration, but they never touch the max end speed. The main reasons we find athletes don't train max speed is, number one, they never really reach max speed in their game, so therefore they think it's not important to train. So, very rarely in a football play will you ever have a chance to run full speed unless it's like a kickoff. Same thing in hockey. Again, we got confinements. Again, we got obstacles, people to move in and around, so we never really get our maximal output, okay? But again, we're going to show you why that's important and how it's affecting your game right over here in 2 seconds. Two other beliefs that a lot of athletes, coaches, and parents have is that they simply think that if they practice their sport, that it'll make them faster. And we're going to show you why that practicing sport does not make you faster for your sport. And then lastly is a lot of times that coaches and athletes, again, they're doing the field work or they're doing conditioning or speed work. A lot of the times they never reach their maximum output to generate their highest amount of forces, so they never really reach their full potential, and again, that is draining their performance. So the two things you need to understand and that are vital to reaching your absolute speed and your full speed potential as an athlete, number one is your max output. So max, let's put OP for output. And then, so max output is pretty much how much force you can generate, just raw force, nothing held back, reach your full potential, reach your full capability, and again, transfer that force into the ground to go. And again, two is your operational, so I'll write OPER, output. So your operational output is simply basically what you are able and capable of to put out, what kind of forces you can put out in a game situation. So again, in your game situation, you will never, very rarely ever reach your maximal output. And reasons you'll never reach your max output in a game setting and you'll always be stuck in your operational output is the fact that certain plays you never get full recovery, so therefore you're always in a fatigued state, so therefore you're forced to operate at a lower level. Also, as we mentioned before, there's game situations where again the field conditions might not be proper. Again, you have obstacles, you have defenders coming against you. Again, turf or grass slips out, you have people to avoid. So very rarely do you ever get to operate at your maximal output. Also, you got things like pads. Again, if you play lacrosse, hockey, football, you have helmets, shoulder pads, all the stuff that's weighing you down, taking away from your maximal output. Before we show you the importance of reaching maximal output in your training and how that affects your performance, we're going to go over the 5 main benefits and how that really helps boost your performance. First is it creates a larger speed reserve, and a speed reserve is simply the fact that we can generate higher forces, generate higher outputs. Everything that we do that is sub-maximal or less than our maximal will be easier. And again, that's going to be our main point here when we get to our performance. Secondly, it's going to increase your maximal speed, obviously, and it's also going to increase your strength. So again, a lot of times your speed can help drive your weights in the weight room up, because again, when you're sprinting in that controlled environment, in your maximal output environment, you generate forces that are 4 to 6 times your body weight, things that you can rarely ever replicate in the weight room. Lastly, it's going to decrease your energy costs. So when you're playing your game, you're playing your sport, it's not going to be as taxing, it's not going to be as tiring. You're going to conserve energy, you're going to be in better shape, you're going to be better conditioned. And again, that all ties into increasing your operational output. So now as an example, let's say your athlete right now, so this is your D-trained state, and again, we're just going to use football as an example for a 40 times since it's so simple and standard. So let's say you come in, you're D-trained, which is the DT stands for, and let's say your max operational output, we'll put it in 40 terms. So let's say your max operational output when you come in, let's say you run a 4.840, okay? So you come in, you run a 4.8. So now what your operational output, again, because remember, when you're in the game, you're never going to run your 4.8 typically, okay? Because again, you got extra weight, the field, you got defenders, all this other stuff. So let's say you run at 90%. You're going at 90% of your operational output, which really is your max output in the game. So now your operational output is 90% of that, which ends up being about a 5.3. So you're in the game, you get a chance to sprint as hard and fast as you can, you're probably running about a 5.3. So now let's say you came in, you're training with us, you put in some work, we got a program, we got you faster. Let's say we improved your 40 from a 4.8 to a 4.7. So now we increased your maximal output, okay? You can generate higher forces, you're covering the ground faster, you're a faster athlete. Now your operational output is going to be a 5.2. Okay? So what that means is that concept of speed reserve. You expanded your speed zone. So again, this is going to be the athlete when you're detrained. So this is your 4.840. And again, so now what we do, we increased your capacity and your total speed volume. Now you're running that 4.7. So now when you are operating at your operational output, your 4.840 was here. So now your 4.8 is only basically about 0.9, 90%, 80% of your total maximal output, okay? So what that's gonna do, again, like we already talked about, it's gonna decrease your energy costs, it's gonna make you a more efficient athlete, and then obviously you're not gonna be working nearly as hard on the field as you're going by defenders. That's why it's so vital and important for athletes to train at maximal speeds, at maximal outputs in the off season, in controlled environments, so that way it transfers onto their field in performance. They're running more efficiently, they're conserving energy, and they're also reducing chances of injury, okay? Because champions are not made on the field, they are simply recognized there. So your performance is a reflection of your preparation in your off season, in your planning, in your coaching, in your discipline. So that is going to show up in your performance, okay? Now, if you want to see where your max speed is and your max velocity is, we have a laser timing system here at our training facility in Auburn Hills, Michigan. We can get a laser time. Again, it's just more valid, it's more accurate, it's more consistent, more reliable than a stopwatch. So we can get a game plan to help you get faster, see exactly where you're at, get you to where you want to be, and get a game plan together to get you there. So this is Josh from Athletic Preparation here in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Go ahead, click the link for your application. We know you can get you results, so it's just a matter of fact if you're up to it or not.